He'd be negotiating against himself, thinking there's 15 bidders when there's possibly one.
Exactly.
We're going to pay you this much, but you can earn this much if you work this kind of schedule. Take it or leave it. Yep. Or they're going to send him up a tizzy. Well, a little math and algorithms and schematics over here, and I will give you $18 million.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. The Wrestling Outlaws. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Always good to be here with my bros. We got EC3, former TNA heavyweight champion twice.
2 times removed. Yep, current
NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we started before we went on air. We came in hot,
baby.
We did, yeah, we did, man. We were talking about Mercedes Mone's contract. So that was all fun and games. All fun and games.
Man, bro, can you imagine? I mean, Chris, I hate to interrupt you, but like, bro, if these people, you know, the Rebecca De Mornays and Will Ospreays and all these people, bro, can you imagine if they realistically have good agents and the talent smartens them up about Tony Khan and his checkbook, and you got a good agent going into that negotiation? Can you imagine the contracts they're getting for themselves, bro?
Yeah. He'd be negotiating against himself, thinking there's 15 bidders when there's possibly one.
Exactly.
We're going to pay you this much, but you can earn this much if you work this kind of schedule. Take it or leave it. Yep. Or they're going to send him up a tizzy. Well, a little math and algorithms and schematics over here, and I will give you $18 million.
Hey, bro, that's not too far-fetched, man.
Yeah, man, it's
bro,
it's interesting. I mean, to your point, Ise, it's the negotiator is going to make him think that it's a much more bitter.
Bro, I got to ask you two a question. I got to ask you two a question because I kind of think it's human nature. Let's say Chris and EC3. Let's say you guys are billionaires. You got billion. Okay. You got all the money you could possibly have, and this, Chris, we're going to get into psychology again. You got all the money you could possibly have at your fingertips. Money doesn't mean anything. Bro, I still think it's human nature to be frugal and get the best deal. I mean, am I right or wrong?
You're looking at it from the fact that we are inherited billionaires or self-made. Did we go through the turmoil and the suffering and the sacrifice required to earn each and every penny? And so though it's not about the money is a sign that the efforts and sacrifice were worth it? Or are we somebody that just woke up into it out of a weird placenta-filled haze, came out going, yeah, I got it all, doesn't matter? Because there's a totally different mindset when it comes from entitlement to earning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and when it comes to, being frugal, those people that you just explained, EC3, those are the ones who are more prone to still be frugal because they earned it. And it's basically like it's their achievement. You know, I mean, they did it, they earned it. It feels more attached to them as opposed to being an inheritance.
And Chris, I would have to also believe with that because like this is like, bro, like I'm thinking of Steve Austin and like this was Steve's, psyche. I'm thinking, bro, with a guy like his dad, I'm thinking in the back of your mind, bro, you got to be thinking as quickly as I made it, yep, I can lose it just as easy. I got to believe you've got to be thinking that way, bro.
Yeah.
I would say too, like maybe you've earned it and you've been at a high level for a long time. It's not about the numeric or the value of the money. You have more money than you can spend, and your family's generations have more money. but then it becomes sort of like the pieces on the board you get to play with. Like, I could get this person for 13 shillings. They want 20. I am a superior, intelligent, frugal, smarter, more relentless, more cunning person. I am going to get them to 12. And that's the game they're playing in their own head. That's the competition when you've already conquered everything you need to conquer financially.
Yeah. I agree. So here's the
Art
first
of the Deal. Read it, guys.
What'd you say?
Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
Art of the Deal. Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of that book. I've read it.
I guarantee you. I mean, there's no question. I guarantee you that's how Vince negotiated.
Oh, yeah.
He had the money to give people what they wanted, but they weren't going to get what they wanted. He was going to pay them what he wanted to pay them.
Yeah, maybe if you're not poop-faced McGee like Vince, but you are like a good human being who becomes a billionaire.
Yeah.
You're going to, like, the frugality doesn't come in. You'll donate to causes. You'll donate excessive amounts. You'll tip excessively to service people. Like, you're very giving with your money until it comes down to now we're playing the game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win the game.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, higher paid people are typically lower tippers. People who get paid a lot of money. Yeah.
I would say like upper middle class is always the best tipper for my lifetime in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
And again, sometimes like overpaid or people that are inherited, horrible tippers. People that have earned, like example, let's not talk. We're going to talk about him later because he got inducted to the Illuminati. Shout out John. But like John earned his money. John's rich. John's well off. I would see him dishing out hundos as tips to service people because that used to be him.
Yeah.
That's how I would be if I were John Rich. Instead, I dish out 20s. But, they still come from a nice place. Mm-hmm. And they still are worth money. But the way he would tip, like, based on how his work ethic that got him to what he.
It's the psychology of it, though. It's just the thing. That, John Cena tipping someone is legitimately wanting them to win because he can empathize with them and want to contribute as much as he can reasonably to help them move forward. A lot of times, people in a very wealthy, inherited, not all, but a lot of people who have inherited that wealth, they just feel as if they're lower on the pecking order and they're just someone who's is supposed to. That's where the entitlement comes in. They're supposed to be my waitress. They're supposed to be serving me. They're supposed to be doing this. So that mindset causes them to tip less because they don't feel as if they should ascend in the ranks in the SES, socioeconomic status.
I think there's two ways to look at that from let's say a protagonist and an antagonist view. That somebody that is a better person who might be a lower end tipper can be tipping based on the service they're getting because now
meritorious,
servers become entitled. Oh, I have Robert Downey Jr. in. I'm getting $100,000 tip, but I don't really have to do anything. Or again, if they worked hard, Robert Downey Jr. is evaluating them to see if they've earned it or if they're just bare minimum, and that's cool. LeBron James, I'm from Cleveland. One of the worst kept secrets is he's a horrible tipper, like notoriously awful tipper. And it was like, you wanted to root for the guy, you wanted to bring you a championship, but it's just like, I can't get behind that. But then again, I'm not in the circumstances that LeBron's like, if I'm walking into the club and I'm taking care of everything and the servers are messing around and partying instead of like doing the actual work, well, now I'm not going to tip you as much. But I just heard he was really bad. So
can we all agree on one thing, though? Can we all agree on one thing?
I bet we can.
When you are in a situation where it's the spin screen, bro, it's the spin screen. No tip, bro. No tip, guys. Bro, who's the money guy that has a very successful show on TV? What's his name? Who's some of the money guys on TV?
Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is
no, not Kevin O'Leary. I can't remember the dude's name, but even he said when you are in one of those spin gimmicks, zero tip, bro. If somebody's not getting you a cup of coffee from the spigot and getting a tip.
Yeah.
I hate that, bro. I hate it.
We've had this conversation.
We have.
Yeah.
And I would say, am I getting a mocha frappe latte? It's going to take a lot of like bells and whistles and steams and milks and frothers. I'm going to throw you $1 or $2. Am I getting the black? There you go. What about it? Well, what about it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Here's one. Okay, because I ate a giant burger. Shout out Dickie's Burgers in Collinwood, Ohio. I got tricked into eating out. I can't believe it, but I'm full and I'm a little slow, so I apologize. But big burger, fries, screen comes around like you order at a line. You go get your food. So there's really no actual service. But I got hit with the deal. And I'm like, is this a 10%er? Because I'm a 25% tipper if I'm sitting down with a waitress or a server or a waiter. But like, what are you? And I was like, 10% sounds okay. But they come up with the numbers too, which we didn't have back in the day.
That's right, they do.
Yeah, they usually force 15, gratuity, yeah.
But they're high. They're 18, 20, and 22. Where like people grew up thinking 15% was good. Then it became 20, but they're like, I just heard it was 15 because I'm cheap.
Yeah, typically with higher groups, they after a certain amount of people, they force gratuity.
Where are you with the spin screen, Chris?
With the spin screen, my thoughts on tipping is I think tipping should be pretty solid across the board. But I'm a very direct person, so I'll let the person know that they're not doing a good job.
Well, there's a deal though.
It's meritorious for me. I'm a meritorious tipper. Like I was at Cheesecake Factory on last week. And I only like one cheesecake. It's the dulce de leche, the caramel cheesecake, beautiful. And so I wanted the extra like sprinkly stuff, like the peanuts and the stuff. And she thought that I was. She said brinkle or whatever it's called, and we just had a miscommunication. So she brings me sprinkles, and I was very, very nice because it's good to be nice to waiters and waitresses. Because I'm gonna give you before we close this segment, I'm gonna give you a really interesting psychological phenomenon when it comes to waiters or waitresses in relationships. So don't let me in dating. Yeah. So remind me of that. But she was, I said, I wanted this. This is what I wanted instead. I was really nice about it. It's just like, yeah, that's what I told you. I was,
no.
And I said, okay. I said, so I said, no, I said, it must've been a miscommunication and this is what I wanted. And so then she brings it back to me and she was like really short with me the whole time.
Hey.
Okay. So I see where your IQ is right now. I'm going to go to your manager. I'm going to let them know because the host, she was amazing. She was really nice. And so I told her, I said, let me speak to your manager. I need to speak to your manager. I said, I just want to let you know that this person on the receipt here, she was very unprofessional and the service was horrible. And I'm pretty sure that's not a good representation of your company. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, the host, she was fantastic though. You should keep her. And so, I left. And so that person I tipped her like $2 because I'm like, I understand that this is your living, but you don't deserve a big tip. So.
Good for you.
Let me tell you this. Not only a world champion, but I'm a former Cheesecake Factory server. So no matter what corporate response to your query is, no matter if I'm so sorry, and then you go get it fixed. Yeah. You got to eat and you should know better too, because that's the difference between $2 and 25% that I know Dr. Chris is usually throwing down. But the key word, the manager said it, I'm so sorry. So it's not a good representation of the Cheesecake Factory. I think they've gone downhill since they've taken away making people wear white pants, which was so ridiculous. But now they get to wear black pants and they look cool, and I had to wear white pants like an idiot.
Put that on your Wikipedia page. Former Cheesecake Factory employee. Someone will put that on your wiki page. All right, real quick, 30 seconds. So there's a phenomenon called the waitress effect. All right. So what that means is, so for all you people listening to this right now who are single and dating, all right. So the waitress effect goes as, or the waiter or waitress effect goes as follows. If you are interested in someone and you're single and you take them on a date, take them to a restaurant, because psychology studies show that you can tell how the person really is by how they treat the waiter or waitress at a restaurant.
Interesting.
So
that's why, let me tell everybody, wrestling fans, listen up. If I'm short with somebody or I kind of say something snide about somebody, it's because I know them personally. I know how they've interacted with servers, and I know the things they've done. So because you think somebody's nice or they resonate with you because, I don't know, perhaps it's the what is not the Mandela effect? I don't recall who I'm even quoting, but if you feel like they are a part of you and their attitude is like-minded, it matches you, I'm mean to them for a reason, and mostly it's because I've seen them tip and how they act to servers. So that is exactly right. Same thing with dates. I've left dates watching them interact with servers. Like, wow, you're a
Yeah.
used to be me in those white pants, honey.
That's right, man. He knows.